Hi Mary, I've looked over your lesson plan and here is my feedback. I really like it in general. I think it's very well aligned and I love the fact that you started out the lesson with looking at and analyzing some images. I think that can be a lot less intimidating than analyzing words. You know, kids are so much more used to images today. So I really like that. There are a few things I'm going to talk to you about. It's specific to themes and central ideas of the text, textual evidence, stuff like that, and I'll get to that later in your lesson plan, okay? So, nice use of established goals, and I think that, like I said, I think the way that you got the kids into it by looking at the text, looking at the cover of the text is a really good way to dig into it. All right, your students will be able to is nicely aligned. And your learning activities, okay? Okay, so going right into the learning plan, okay, you're specific about the book, you give a little bit of background information on it, and I think that's a good way to start with the text, all right? And then I like that you're very specific about your directions and how to jigsaw here, so it shows me that you're thinking through some management things as well as, you know, like what you're going to teach as well as how you're going to teach it, and I really like that. I especially love that you told them what they were going to be doing. There was a book walk, and you modeled for them. So you pulled up, you know, To Kill a Mockingbird, you noticed and you questioned, and it was very clear what you were asking them to do because you modeled. That is just wonderful, wonderful. I love that, okay? You thought about student questions and how it is that you'd be answering them. And I like, too, that you were really specific here and said discussing it in your group should help by bouncing ideas off each other. It takes some of the stress off individual students who aren't too sure about what they're doing or what their answers are going to look like, okay? So you have them do the book walk, you have them jigsaw. I love the fact that you're thinking through the time limits on these things, too, because that's going to be really important, all right? Scrolling, hold on. Okay, good. So you have them, you're going to read the first 5 paragraphs to them, and then here, you say, as I'm reading, think about themes and central ideas within the text. Stop me if you have any questions, and they're reading along with you, okay? It's right here where I've got the piece that I want you to extend, okay? If you talk to them about themes and central ideas, all right, these are 7th graders, and while they may have heard these words before, and they may even be able to define these words, and they may even be able to give you examples of these words. Okay, those are all really low-level Bloom's taxonomy things, and you're asking them to do application. And so remember that heavy scaffolding piece that we want to do when we're, you know, especially younger grades like this, right? So what is theme? What is central idea? Give me some examples. Excellent. Now, do they know how to do that with a text that is as complex as the text you chose? That's the next question, right? So, you say to them right here, okay. Using the first 5 paragraphs of the book, you're going to write 6 to 9 sentence paragraphs stating a theme or central idea of this book so far. You must have at least 2 pieces of textual evidence from what you've read in class together. Remember to cite in MLA format. Holy cow, that's an entire mini lesson right there, okay? Remind them, what is theme? What is central idea? What are some examples of it? What are not some examples of it? How is it that you know to look for theme? How is it that you find textual evidence? What's going to happen, like if you were to roll this out with typical 7th graders and you just did this lesson plan right off of here, you're going to get nothing but fancy summary. You're going to get, this book is about, you're going to do characterization, oops, sorry, it's my email in the corner. You're going to get character and you're going to get plot. This book is about a boy who is in a gang called the Greasers. And I know it's about that, here comes my textual evidence, because in the beginning they call him Pony Boy. They wouldn't call him a boy if he was a girl. I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to get. So you've got to take a step back and do a little mini lesson here on what theme is, and then modeling the application of it and how to find it, okay? Also, you will have to teach them MLA format. They, in 7th grade, some of them will never have heard of that at all. You may want to even kind of put that into a different lesson plan because it can be so disconnected from theme or central idea. But other than that, I really like this lesson plan. I think you did a really good job. I think it's aligned well. I love that you are, being very explicit with them in parts. I like that you're reading out loud to them those first couple paragraphs so they have time to think. And I like that you really thought through the timing on this. Okay, so lots of real strong suits, just some areas where we need to deepen instruction there. Thanks.